Hi, I'm Kamal Imani, and maybe I made it this far in life because I was a risk taker. I was a latchkey kid. When my mother had to work two jobs or overtime for the phone company, Ma Bell in the Bronx, and she would leave me there. One time I made a mistake when we lived in Harlem and I was 5 years old. I opened up the door and two men came in with stockings over their faces and swords, and my little sister and I were watching Sesame Street, and we said, "Please don't take the TV. We're watching Sesame Street." So they took everything except for the TV, and they didn't hurt us. Um, that was one of my memories. Another early memory when we moved to the Bronx on Davidson Avenue was posters and flyers everywhere saying that a crazy man was going around cutting off little boys' genitals. So I was very frightened as a young kid. And when I would go to the store sometime for my mother, I'd be nervous because there'd always be a guy 5, 6, 7 years older than me that would chase me down, even in the supermarket, trying to take my money. There was bullies everywhere. I was with I was going to say nanny, but babysitter once, and I saw a guy pointing a gun at another guy's head. Another guy was shaking. And so she pushed me into a vestibule so I wouldn't see the rest. And there was pimps and people playing dice. And I mean, there was good things as well. But I joined a gang at the age of 7. The police came to my house. I think I was hiding under the bed. I don't know. My mother said, the police want to speak to you. They said you stole somebody's pocketbook, you know. And I didn't steal anybody's pocketbook. But I had just joined the gang, the Junior Black Spades. And because of that, things like that, my grandmother in Englewood, New Jersey, got me out of the Bronx and brought me out to Teaneck, New Jersey. And the thing is that she we had a big house, but my mother was basically then paying the mortgage, and she couldn't handle the mortgage, the light bill, the gas bill, the water bill, the oil, the clothes, the food, the transportation, and she would have nervous breakdowns. Even in the Bronx, she would faint sometimes. Twice she fainted, and the super had to come up and give her smelling salts. Um, in Teaneck, New Jersey, she had nervous breakdowns in front of the family, crying because it was just overwhelming for her trying to take care of 3 kids whose fathers weren't really involved. And the crazy thing about it was my grandmother moving us to New Jersey didn't really safeguard me from the streets because most of my friends, they came from New York too. So we had family back in New York, and we always loved hanging out in New York. And 42nd Street and Times Square wasn't like it is now. It was very bad, very X-rated, lots of drugs down there, all kind of crime going on. And as silly kids, we just ran to the funk. But we did like the karate flicks and stuff. We'd watch karate movies and then come outside and everybody would karate fighting and taking pictures and stuff. So that was the fun part. But I've been through so many things, and I was able to follow my instinct because my mother would just let me go, and my friends, and we would just play stuff like Let's Get Lost and run the streets. And sometimes I would help ladies with their bags. I would actually go to the supermarket, help them carry their bags upstairs to their apartments. I would get in cabs. I would get in cars at about 6, 7 years old, 8 years old. And nowadays, you couldn't do that. But the neighborhood was still kind of like a community with people watching and people knowing each other. But there was a lot of crime as well. So when we started going back to the city, I'll just say this to make a long story short. I was able to follow my instincts when I sensed danger and get out of the situation and know when to leave certain situations, even when we went to the clubs and stuff like that. But some of my friends ended up dead. Some ended up in jail. Some ended up crazy. Some ended up dying from drugs and alcohol. And some have made it, did very well for themselves. They made it out. They did very well for themselves. So I've always had a heart to give back. So for the last 12 years, I've been in the special education profession doing various positions. out in New Jersey. I've worked with gangs, Bloods, Crips, MS-13, from Camden to Patterson to Newark, East Orange, Irvington, Hackensack, Teaneck, Inglewood, and even the suburban towns, even Nutley and Wayne and Parsippany. I've worked with kids that have been addicted to drugs and things like that, and I've lost a few. Unfortunately, we've lost a few because we work as a team in my various positions. But we've had a lot of good outcomes, a lot of success stories, and that warms my heart. So I say that to say that with your contribution, I would like to go on tour. I would like to go to different schools, different cities, and talk to the kids and teach the kids the things that they're still missing. The school system can't provide everything. They're not parents. And a lot of parents are stressed. A lot of households are broken. So I realized that we, the teachers, become their parents. And we don't always have the time to put more into them. And hopefully in the future, I can form an organization. But it all starts with money, donation. So hopefully you can donate and, of any amount, and that will help me. And you could also call me to come speak to kids and children. I do it in the neighborhood, you know. People call me and if their kids acting up and stuff, and I do my best to try to guide them in the right direction. So you can feel free to contact me, and that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Okay? So thank you very much for listening. I tried to give you a lot in a nutshell. Okay? My name is Kamal, and thank you for listening. Peace and success.